It's the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Tastes like Miller time. Tom Thumb and Albertsons, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Luke Casey, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. All-Tech Lansing. Just listen with All-Tech Lansing, perfecting sound since 1927. And by Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, your hosts, Nicole Hutchison and Brad Sham.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you very much. Happy Labor Day, everybody. And thank you for being with us. And here we go with another season of the Cowboys Hour. Thank you for being with us. Those of you who came out to spend part of Labor Day here, give yourselves a little hand. We appreciate you very much. And we are at Sidecar Social in the Star District, which has been our home for a few years here now. Delighted to be back. We are very happy to have all of you listening on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. And whenever and wherever you're streaming on DallasCowboys.com. So hi. If you're watching us on .com, and you know it's normally difficult to get a player. In fact, I try not to do it for a show like this on a Thursday night. And you say, but it's not Thursday night; it's Monday night. Only to you, to the football team, it's Thursday because Thursday is Sunday this week, and they travel on Wednesday, and they're winding down. But we are thrilled to have the opportunity to do it. So then I said, who is the biggest name player we can get for easy, you missed your cue, just wait for it. Who's the biggest name player, the biggest fan favorite that we can get to start the year? We like to start the year with a bang. So I am very sad that we are able to have this man tonight because we all want to watch him play. And that will be coming soon enough. But in the meantime, what a joy to have DeMarvion Overshown here with us to start the year. Demo, thank you. Thank you. Now, come on. There we are. There we go. All right. Very good. A little more coaching, but it's the first game of the year. We'll be fine. We are just so happy to have you here. Thank you for taking part of your Monday, Thursday, whatever the hell day it is to you guys. So we have to start with, how do you feel? That's what everybody wants to know. How you doing?
Oh, no. First of all, thank y'all for having me. You know, I know last year I was on here, and I said whenever y'all wanted me back, let me know, and I'll come. So I appreciate y'all having me back. But, to answer your question, I feel great. I feel good. I don't know if y'all have been seeing any videos of me moving around, me and Rev moving around with Britt, but like I say all the time, if it was up to me, I'd be out there with my fellas. But it's one of those things where it's time with it. But if you ask me, look, I could be out on the field right now.
What's the rehab process been like for you over these last 8 months?
It's been chill. I got a strong support system around me, and sadly, but also a good thing, I've been through this before, so I kind of know where all my milestones and my check marks, what I need to feel like, when I need to feel like. So it's been easy. I haven't been stressful at all, and I think that's been the key thing. I haven't been stressed, so it's easy for me to go up there, get some good work in with Britt, come home, be a dad, be a fiance, and get back up, smile, and do it again the next day.
Do you ever not get up smiling?
Look,
do you ever have? Everybody loves this about you. Your attitude is infectious.
Look, I'm not gonna say every day I just get up, smiling, but I know every day I find a reason to smile, and that's one of the main things to get through, life in general. Like, you gotta find joy in everything you do, and I find joy in waking up and challenging myself every day to get this knee back to top shape. So, when you do that, you smile, like you say, it's infectious. One person smile, now two, you make somebody else smile, that's two people, and, next thing you know is just positive energy everywhere.
You're more than just, I was going to do this later, but this is where we are right now. We'll circle back. What did Taylor Swift say about Travis Kelce? He's a human exclamation point, which is true. You, then, are a human exclamation point in all caps. You are, and I don't know how someone can be in a workplace with you or a social setting or a business setting and see how you are and how you approach things and not feel good. I don't know how someone can be around you and say, well, okay, then, I think maybe I can improve my attitude a little bit. Have you always been like that?
I think for as long as I can remember, I've always been like this. I actually grew up in the church, and it's this song. It's called "This Little Light of Mine." I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine.
And so, like all my life, I've always been like, I'm gonna shine my light bright. It might just, brighten somebody else's light that's not as bright as mine. So,
Do you notice that guys kind of follow you and are drawn to you, that you are somewhat magnetic with that personality? Do you know that?
I think I can feel it at times. I think I definitely do my best to, make me feel approachable, make me, feel like I'm doing the right thing. The guys can look at me and say, okay, Demo's doing it right, I'm going to follow Demo. So, that's one thing growing up, I've always inspired to be that leader, that front man in the line going to battle, and guys can look at me and say, look, I want to go to war with Demo. So, it's definitely, I don't take it for granted being in that position. A lot of people say, that just puts extra pressure on you, but I always say, pressure is a good thing. You strive to be something in your life, and, the pressure comes with it. So I'm excited. I love the fact that, I'm able to call myself a leader.
All right, let's go back to your knee just for a second, because you said that one thing that gets you through this is that you've been through this before. And my question is, have you really, because there's nothing inside what holds your knee together that you didn't tear or break, right?
Right.
You haven't been through that before, have you?
I haven't. But, to say I haven't been through things tougher than this would be an understatement, because, I know I got the best doctors, the best medical staff, everything I got going into my knee. But, other situations growing up, I didn't have the best, growing up situation, so I've always felt like, I got over that. Anything that I face in life is obtainable.
What have you learned about yourself mentally throughout all this?
Just how resilient I am, and, how each battle, I come back stronger. I find a different challenge each day to attack, and, I always challenge myself to do it while smiling too. I know it's going to be hard days. I know it's going to be days where I'm tired. The last couple of days, it's been hot outside. Yeah. So, I've been tired, but I've always, wanted to do it with a smile. And so that's one thing that I found out in myself, that, I'm stronger than what I thought.
You also talked about, you set milestones for yourself throughout, all of it. What were some of those milestones that you did kind of set for yourself, and what they look like?
I know just coming back from California, I think I came back like maybe 3 days after my surgery. Oh. And at that point, I was tired of getting driven around by my fiance in California. So I told myself, as soon as I got home, like, I don't care how I'm feeling, I'm driving my truck.
Okay.
I don't care how I'm feeling, I'm driving my truck. I don't think the training staff would be okay with me jumping into my truck. You know how tall my truck is. I'm jumping in there with 2 braces on. And
Did you tell them?
I didn't. I told them towards the end when I got off crutches.
Hey, by the way, just so y'all know, I've been driving my truck for about 6 weeks now. Yeah.
And so at that point, it was too late for them to tell me to stop. So it was just things like that, like just getting up and challenging myself to do things like that. Like, look, I know if I can get to the point of driving my own truck, like, that's one thing I can do by myself already.
Okay.
But, and the to me, this attitude that you have surrounding this injury, which is just very much part of who you are, coming on the heels of what cost you your entire rookie season in preseason, that had to be beyond disappointing. You're playing so well. You're playing like an all-pro, a real difference maker. And now then this happens, and you've already lived through it once. And is it as simple as faith that gets you lifted up enough to just keep coming back from all that?
It's as simple as having faith. I know my plan, and I know what I've done to get here. And like I said, my light to shine, it wasn't done yet. And I feel like on the football field is when my light is at its brightest. So just being able to continue be a testimony every day, getting another opportunity just to get up and walk off the field. I knew right then like I was going to be okay. The fact that I didn't get carted off the field, the fact that, I got in there, done the MRIs, showered myself, took all I done all that myself. So just doing that little bit, made me realize like I'm going to be okay. Like I'm going to be able to sleep tonight.
And how have you changed, if you have, the timeline for getting back? I've heard it said Thanksgiving. I think I've read or heard that you said, yeah, maybe before that. We'll see. How have you challenged the timeline that the medical people gave you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I know as soon as I was walking off the field, actually, I asked Britt Brown all right, what I got to do to get back? How long it's gonna take? I need to know right now. I got to challenge myself to beat that.
As you're walking off the field from getting hurt.
As I'm walking off the
field.
field.
And did he say, I can't tell you now, we've got to do an MRI?
He was like, look, I can't tell you exactly right now, but, it's serious. So I was like, look, I just need to know a number. You tell me a number, and, I'm going to challenge myself. And he's like, you're looking at 10 to 12. And I took that, and I was like, all right, I'll be done. I'll be ready in 8. And I've been going and, doing my research. I tell people all the time, I got that East Texas blood in me. So, Adrian Peterson, after he tore multiple ligaments in his leg, his MVP offensive, player of the year season was the following year. So, I always said that I was going to be okay whenever my time came to get on the field.
I know we don't have 100% validation that Peterson is actually human. Because he may be a cyborg.
He may be.
And may you be?
And that's what I'm saying. When you get on the field, people are gonna think that when they see me moving faster, smoother than I was last year. So I'm excited to showcase that. I know a lot of people have expressed to me that they excited to get me back on the field, but the feelings are definitely mutual.
All right, well, if you didn't know already why people love DeMarvion Overshown, now you do, and we're going to just build on it when we come back. And Nicole, who's helping us be here this fine Labor Day evening?
I've got us here, Brad. Albertsons, when it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the Cowboys Hour. We'll be right back.
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons.
And welcome back. We are at Sidecar Social in the Star District. I'm Brad Sham with Nicole Hutchison, our very special guest to start the season. Who could be better than the sunshine of this entire football team, DeMarvion Overshown? And this is the first time in my memory that certainly we've started the year, but maybe at any point, that we had a whole table full of people wearing shirts with your name and nickname and image on it. So that's good. I'm very impressed. Matt Eberflus, the new defensive coordinator, talked a lot. Brian Schottenheimer's talked a lot about how during OTAs and then especially out in camp, you were not rehabbing inside. You were like in Eberflus's hip pocket and like learning his cadence, right? And what everything was. So tell me about that. That was an interesting thing to observe. How'd that come about?
No, it was. I definitely take that experience, and not just from the football side of it, but I think it was another way for me and Flus to build our relationship without me being on the field, So basically, I look at, how Coach Shotty and Dak relationship, and it's basically you have Shotty on the field as quarterback with Dak because he's so smart. And I feel like, on the defensive side, that's kind of where I wanted to take my game. I felt like my physical abilities was there, but last year, if, maybe I'm looking at the right things or I seen something in film study a little quicker, or if I just seen it out of Flus' mind a little quicker, like I'm making, more plays. So that was one of the things I wanted to challenge myself at, is being mentally over-prepared for a game, where I can call out plays before they even happen. I know in the Breakfast Club, we call it basically the guys that's not in special teams, go meet with the coordinators and your coaches and just get some behind the scenes on who we scouting that week. And me and him talked about Sean Lee constantly, and I wanted to.
Do you know Sean? Have you met him yet?
I haven't met him, but last year we exchanged texts during my first injury, and he was a guy that was able to drop some dimes on me. So I told him I want to be at the level where you're on the field through the headset.
I'm gonna text him when we get done. I'm gonna text him and say, "Get down here. I know you're living in Montecito or on a boat or some damn thing.
Nice.
But get down here and spend some time with Overshown because he's your kind of guy." So, do you feel now like you have a handle on what Flus is doing?
I do. I feel like as soon as I step on the field, it's not going to be no catching up. It's going to be me as soon as I get out there just clicking on with everybody. And I think that's been another reason why I've been attached to him, because I don't want to be off, just doing treatment and then not getting the football side of things, since I can't physically get the reps. So being mentally, like I said, over-prepared for when I come back, and all I have to do is put the physical to it at that point, and I know I'll be good in that department.
Now, you said Sean Lee dropped some dimes on you. What has Matt Eberflus dropped on you in terms of you learning something out of Eberflus that you haven't learned from any other defensive coordinator, considering he is a linebackers coach?
He is. And that's one thing I can say. I say out of all my coordinators, I feel like he's been the most hands-on with me, especially, developing into a linebacker, starting off as a safety. So just some of those, being interchangeable with your D-line. Like, if they eat, I eat. If I eat, they eat. So if you get to working with your D-line, like, that's how you make plays. And I feel like, when you see it on tape and you just see the guys in the linebacker room doing it right now, it makes sense. So I'm actually excited to see them flying around Thursday.
How often is Eberflus in the linebackers meeting?
So he's in our meetings. Like, until it's over, he's with us. So I think a lot of position groups like the fact that he's with the linebackers more.
They don't want him in there. Huh?
I think Hook done made that clear. Like, when he had him in Indy, it's like, look, you gonna love him as a person, but as a coach, he gonna get after you. And I feel like as the linebackers, we take we love that. We want to be not only the alphas of the defensive side of the ball, but the whole team in general. So just having Flus in there, being able to coach us up on everything, making sure we're dialed in.
So I had a little bit of this conversation with Osa in camp. Even though 2 years ago you only played in the preseason and just out very quickly, but you were with Dan Quinn all the way through off season and camp and all of that. And then last year was Mike Zimmer. So here you are in your third year trying to finish, a year. But it's not just three different coordinators. Those three guys had three different systems from each other. People don't understand how little similarity the approach is. How is that not difficult?
I think, one reason why I actually had three coordinators in college. But no, I say just.
So this ain't no
look,
thing.
It ain't new for me, but I just say for players in general, it's just like, it's one thing I think people notice like our physical abilities, but you got to take what you do in the classroom and put that on the field. So you got to be a student of the game, and I feel like a lot of us are really good at kind of veering off into something easily, like being able to see something and just react to it. So and the way that Flu's coach, it's more of a he's teaching to us. He's not just coaching. He's teaching us the material. So once you get a grasp of what he's teaching, everything is the same. And I think you're able to play faster without thinking.
The elephant in the room, of course, would be every defensive player wants to play with a player like Micah Parsons. I mean, he's one of the greatest players of the decade. And you did, and now you're not. And that's just kind of the way the business goes. How do those of you, I'm just going to act like you're playing right now because I feel like you are already. How have you all addressed that to say, hey, we'll be fine, we have to do this without him, or we just have to be who we are? Other guys are going to get opportunities now. Sam and Easy, they're going to get some big-time opportunities. But when you lose a player like that, it's a little bit of a surprise, a little emotional. How did y'all handle that, and how do you handle the prospects going forward?
I would say, it's definitely hard losing a guy like Micah, not just as a teammate, but a lot of people don't see, like, the brotherhood we build, that's not shown on TV in 365 days, or, the guy that sits next to me in meetings. It's like, it's deeper than football. So, from a player in the locker room aspect, like, we all understand the business. Like, look, both sides, they want it for themselves, and I think, the only losers out of it is, his brothers. Like, as far as teammates, we understand, like, it's business, but you can't replace a brother or a friend that you see every day with, you interact with every day. But I always look at it as like you can't take nothing negative out of this situation. I mean, this man has set up his family for generations. I say the tears that him and his mom shed will stain the shirts that they're wearing because they'll never forget them. And when you're able to do that as a young man, your kids will be taken care of. Your whole family will be taken care of, and you got to do something for yourself. You celebrate things like that. So I feel like the locker room, I think O said it best. It's tough at a time like this to really dwell on it because, like, you want to be sad, but at the same time, we play football Thursday, and this is a time that, us as teammates and the fan base should uplifting Kenny Clark because he changed. I believe he told me he was taking his daughter to get ice cream when he found out he was coming to Dallas. So I think we addressed something that needed to be addressed with a great player, a guy that wants to win since he stepped in the building. I think our first text when I found out he was getting traded, he sent me like, let's get this shit. Let's win this shit. And you need that in the building to win. I feel like all the guys have flocked to him, and we gonna do some things this year.
And I'm sorry,
No,
Nicole, do you find that guys said, I don't know whether you said it out loud or you could feel it, that, okay, well, when the first wave of surprise passed, okay, well, now people say, well, they can't do it. They're no good without Parsons. and the rest of you say, well, hold on a minute now. We didn't just fall off a turnip truck. We think we can do something. Do you find some of that going on?
Oh yeah. I mean, look, Micah is one of one generational talent, but when you look across all rosters in the NFL, it's talent. And when you got coaches that invest and develop that talent, like, you know, those things like that can be made up. And so no, you can't replace Micah Parsons, the player. Can you replace some of the things that he do? Yes. And I feel like that's where we at with it. You know, it's the next guy up. It's you know, it's a reason why everybody is going to be wearing that star that plays on Thursday, and you know, they got a job to do. We got a job to do, and we're going to do that.
You talk about talent in the NFL. I mean, you still have talent on this defensive line. Donovan Ezeraku, I mean, and what Aaron Whitecotton's done with him. Dante Fowler coming off the season he had in Washington. Sam Williams. I mean, that defensive line room, defensive end room is going to be special. But, I mean, how special do you feel like that group can be?
I feel like that group is going to turn a lot of heads this Thursday, early on in the season. It's been one of the most dominant groups throughout camp. I feel like that was enough for them to believe, like, look, we got the guys that, you know, we can go to battle and we can win with. So, you know, I guess that made them comfortable enough to be able to move something like that by seeing the pieces that we already, you know, we got in the defensive end room. And I see how hard those guys work. And best believe, you know, they got a chip on their shoulder too, and you know, they're going to do what we got to do to win. We're
going to take another break. More with DeMarvion Overshown. Yes, we'll talk about the Ohio State game for a minute, just for a minute. And then we'll be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
Alltech Lansing is...
Supported by Albertsons.
And welcome back. We're at Sidecar Social in the Star District on our first Cowboys Hour of the year. We'll be here every Monday night, except for the Monday nights when we're not, but don't worry about that right now. We're delighted to have you all with us. I'm Brad Sham with Nicole Hutchison and our very special guest for the first show. What a great way to start with DeMarvion Overshown, the Cowboys linebacker. And I've heard, yes, please. That's right. Act like you like him. And so I have heard some people who have seen you play and maybe think they know a little something about the way Flus likes to attack say, could Demo be like a pass rusher like Micah? Because what some people don't remember is that Micah was not an edge rusher at Penn State. He was a phenomenal linebacker. Doesn't mean he didn't rush the passer, but he came from everywhere. He covered the entire field, and it was only when DeMarcus Lawrence got hurt on Wednesday of week 2 that Dan Quinn said, hey, Micah, what do you think about playing end and rushing the passer? And that's how he became what he turned into. So in Flus's system, as best as you can explain it to a bunch of people who don't play, I mean, is there a way for you to have the impact that you have going sideline to sideline and also penetrate and rush the passer?
It's definitely, some stuff dialed up in Flu's playbook for me to spin down and do stuff like that. And, that's something that, I wish I would have started doing earlier on last year, but I've been capable of doing, like, being able to
that wasn't Zim's game, though, was it?
No, not really. Not until he actually seen that I can blitz. And then kind of like when Micah went out, all of his blitzes became my blitzes. So I feel like, Flu's system was more of a, we go off the point, or we see something and we game plan that. It really wasn't a certain player had this responsibility. So the way he's able to mix it up as far as like the packages and things like that, you might see me, spin down on the line sometimes, spin back off the ball. So I would definitely say you see me rush the passer a lot when I come back.
It's such a good point that you make, that because I mentioned you're playing for your third coordinator, and as you pointed out, you had 3 at Texas. I didn't realize that. What would it be like to have the same coordinator 2 years in a row, I wonder?
Look, I grew the most when I had the same coordinator twice. So it's always fun to learn new stuff and get new tricks up your sleeves. But being able to use those same tricks for a couple years, I know I could really dominate. So I'm hoping this be the jackpot. With Flus. I feel like he's built something special on the defensive side of the ball. I love the way he coaches. He's a coach that, believes in the same thing I believe in, and that's running and hitting. That's 80% of the defense right there, just being able to run and wanting to run and hit, and he believes in that. So I'm hoping he stick around for the long ride.
And by the way, people don't really know much about a lot of assistant coaches, but technically he's the coordinator. Dave Barganzi is the linebackers coach, and he was here before when Matt was the linebackers coach, and Gonzo has also grown as a coach through the years. But what I was going to say was, or ask you about was, you talk about having 3 different coordinators, so you got to learn 3 systems. But they've got to learn you. Like you were talking about, Zimmer didn't really realize what you had in your bag until he saw you for a while. So do you think that just from watching tape that these guys kind of have a handle on you?
I think they've been doing it for a while. I think you can watch a little tape and get a good feel of how somebody really is, but until you actually having those interactions with them, coaching them up, seeing it real live speed or real life in practice, like, okay, why do he do this in a game? Like, why is he doing this? Can I coach this up? Or is this the type of player he is? Like, do he want to do he believe in contact, or he's always been a finesse type of guy? So you really got to find your guys within your system, man, and you got to weed those guys out, and the guys that you believe are right for your system, that's when you start building them up, investing in them. And I feel like that's what Fluke's been doing, and I feel like that's when coaches are at their best, when they got the players that they want to play for them. I feel like that's when their system really blossoms.
You talked about, the tricks and things like that. Michael Parsons, of course, and the way that they utilized him coming off the edge, sometimes over the A-gap. What did you learn from Micah in terms of the blitzing ability that you feel like you can bring?
I feel like Micah always told me just be natural with it. Don't try to plan something before it happens. Just react to it. And that was mainly, my game. I felt like, especially coming in, I thought I was going to have to be more like, all right, I got to be technical. I got to have a plan before something happens. Yeah. But no, Michael was the one that's like, nah, King, go out there. And that's exactly what he said. Nah, King, go out there, do what you do. Like, don't even think about it. Just play. And I feel like once I started doing that, I was just naturally able to, get off blocks or make plays or make a move without thinking about it.
And I feel like that's kind of like the theme of this Eberflus system. I've talked to a lot of the guys, and they said it's just simple. You just go out there and ball. Like, how much do you like that individuality to just go out there and play?
It's like he pushed you in a position to make the plays.
Yeah.
You just got to make them. So, and that's why I love this defense, because everybody can be a superstar. It all feeds off each other. Like I say, if the linebacker eats, the D-line eats. And if the D-line eating, that means, the quarterback is throwing the ball to our DBs. So it all works together. He pushed you in a position. You just got to make the plays.
You mentioned Sean Lee. I know him very well. Among the things you have in common, from a football standpoint, you are both really violent players. A lot happens when you get to the ball and the ball carrier, and for that guy, almost none of it's good. Both of you have great instincts. I've often said when Sean was playing, I don't have to watch the ball. I just watch Sean. He'll take me to the ball. And you do the same thing. Here's what gets me. Now, you talked about growing up in the church in Arp, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Right? And you're a good boy.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Sean Lee is one of the nicest, most soft-spoken people, but not on a football field. How do you be that person? Ezraku, I think, has got a lot of this, too. I've talked to him a little bit. You're nodding your head. You can tell us what you know about it. You are one very wonderful, sweet, sharing, giving, positive way off the field, and something really fearsome on the field. How do those things go together?
Look, it's definitely different off the field. I like I'm not going to say it's an on and off switch, but when I step in between those white lines, I definitely know, look, I got a job to do, and, every 60 minutes.
But you got a job you want to do.
And that's the thing. Like, if you don't go out there with that mindset of, this is something that I want to do, like, I'm going to enjoy doing it, and
I'm good at it. You know you're good, don't you?
When you go out there with that confidence and that swag, like, look, I know I'm it. I know I'm the one. Look, you can play free, you can play fast, and you give that other sideline something to be worried about. And I always go on the field with, look, I'm not leaving nothing left. Every hit, every time I'm making contact, like, if that's my last play, so be it. I'm gonna be happy with the physicality of the play. And that's all I know. That's all I've known since stepping foot on the football field.
And it's not just Donovan Ezraku. It's like Marist, Buddy Johnson, Jack Sanborn.
Great
like
point.
Literally all those guys in that room. Y'all have the same personality. Does it make it easier?
It do make it easier. It does make it easier. We like to chill off the field on the sideline, but we already know once we on that field, like, it's straight maniac mode. I tell them all the time, like, I want to be known as the most violent linebacker core in the NFL. So when teams turn on the tape, they like, man, we got to play the Cowboy linebackers. Like, if one thing, they gonna hit something. So look, that's our mindset. That's our mentality of the linebacker room, and we gonna showcase that all year.
And you were a safety your first 2 years at Texas, and in high school.
In high school.
What the hell?
Look, I tell people all the time, like, I skipped flag football. So I never knew how to slow down and grab the flag. I went straight to tackle. I always played up. I always played with my older cousins. Like, all I knew was physicality, and I always wanted to be the one that gave the punishment. When I played running back, I hate getting tackled. I was like that hurts. Like
not fun.
who wants to get tackled? So when I started doing the tackling, I'm gonna make sure they feel me, so they don't want to get tackled again.
Did you at first like the fact that they wanted to convert you to a linebacker?
I didn't. I ran away from it. My freshman year, I got in there a little bit, and I was like, you know what? This is Cam Chancellor. I thought I was gonna be Cam Chancellor, Sean Taylor. Like, I'm like, bro, I play safety. That's where I make my money. I get to come down 15 yards and just hit people. Like, that's what I do. And I think my first game or my first practice at linebacker, I said, oh, yeah, I can do this. I said, every play, it's physicality. It's you're in the play every play. So, and I love that part of it.
When you were growing up, were there pro football players that you watched that you liked watching?
I would say really Patrick Willis and Cam Chancellor.
Okay, so Patrick Willis, a linebacker.
Yeah. I was always a physical guy. Look, I love hard hits. So before any game, I watch hard hits. And Sean Taylor, Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis, guys like that.
Ray Lewis. So far, you've mentioned one safety.
Look, I just knew my mentality was going to get me to the linebacker role, but I like the pretty position, the safety, the back pedal, catch interceptions. But once I realized, like, all right, real football players play linebacker. You get to put your hands on somebody every play and, go make plays.
Have you ever watched tape of some older guys like Dick Butkus?
Dick Butkus, I have seen Dick Butkus
What,
tape.
and what do you think of him?
I love the way he played. I mean, it was straight nasty.
I mean,
like,
he was. I mean, the shoulder pads were,
they was
6
big,
feet.
yeah.
But he was not a fast guy, but he was all over the field.
He got to the ball, and that's when I say sideline to sideline, or you're measured by where you are when the whistle blows at the end of the play. Like Dick Butkus was a true example of that. He made sure he got to the ball.
I mean, there were a lot of great middle linebackers, and I date myself, but I have no choice because I am what I am. I mean, there was Butkus and Ray Nitschke, and later Tommy Nobis, and we just lost one of the great, just a wonderful man, Leroy Jordan, one of the great Cowboys ever. R.I.P. to Leroy, and not big, not a big guy, but just saw everything and ran everywhere, and I just wonder if the game has changed so much that there's anything for you to learn from watching tapes of those old guys.
I think you can just look at the heart they played with. I think back then everybody wanted to be on the football field for more than just the money, the fame.
Well, they weren't making any money.
Exactly. So it was like if you don't love this, you're not doing it. And I think a lot of us, a lot of younger players can see that when we watch that film. Like, look, they playing like they don't care about their lives. Like, look, they can walk home tonight or go home in a wheelchair. They don't care, but they gonna play hard.
And that was Sean Lee, too. I'm going to get him down here to meet you. Our last break, those of you here at Sidecar Social, get your questions ready for Demo, and we'll have a microphone ready to let you ask them. And Nicole?
Yep, got you. Lucchese.
Yeah, there we are.
The segment is brought to you by Lucchese. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at Lucchese's 6 DFW locations or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Back with DeMarvion Overshown right after this.
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons.
And back at Sidecar Social in the Star District on the Cowboys Hour. First one of the year. I'm Brad Sham with Nicole Hutchison, our very special guest, DeMarvion Overshown, who I cannot wait now. How many weeks till I get to watch you play again?
Look,
it'll be what it is. It'll be what it is.
It's soon.
Yeah, it'll be what it is. I know. But and we'll be here next Monday night. And I'm not even going to tell you who I think the guest is next week because you're going to lose your damn mind if I say it. So, but we've got something good planned. Just trust me on that. Okay. Anybody who has a question for DeMarvion, there's a microphone right down here. We reserve the right to cut you off at the kneecap. So go ahead.
Hey, DeMarvion. Larry from McKinney. I just want to know, one of the stories I read about you, you talked about when you were about 6 years of age, you had a death experience. What went on, and if you could share that moment that really opened your eyes?
Oh, yeah. When I was around 6, I think going on 7, I went to this pool party. And the thing about me, like, I'm not going to lie to you, I wasn't a swimmer. Like, it was a swimming pool, and it was a water slide. So, you know, I'm on a water slide, but everybody's in the swimming pool. And it's one of those above-ground swimming pools. So, you know, I go over there. I want to be cool, you know, everybody over there. And about 5 minutes, I'm in the pool. I'm hanging on the edges. And they was like, well, everybody got to get off the edges. You know, the pool might come down. But I'm right there. Like, the ladder is right there, and I'm maybe, like, right here. And so the pool is on the ground. It got some holes and stuff in it. So I was like, all right, I can jump on my tippy toes and make it to the ladder, and then I'll be good. So as I was hopping over there on my tippy toes, I was hopping on one, and I stepped in a hole in the ground, and I slipped and twisted my ankle, and I immediately went underwater. I remember water went down my mouth, and I'm choking. I'm underwater, and
6 years old.
6 years old. I remember this. And at that moment, I just started seeing flashbacks of my young life. Like, I seen my mom was at a wedding or a funeral, I believe. I was able to see my mom, and then all of a sudden I seen like a bright light. Next thing you know, I was waking up on the concrete, the pavement next to the pool. I think I was like unconscious for like maybe 20, 30 minutes. But yes. But I'm thankful to be here. I'm blessed. I'm blessed and highly favored for sure. So I'm thankful to be here. Well, I say I will never get a pool until my kids are completed swimming lessons, dad swimming lessons, mom swimming lessons, everybody's swimming lessons. Like,
I was going to say, did 6-year-old DeMarvion know when he got on the water slide that at the other end of it was the pool?
Look, and that was 2 foot. That was cool.
Okay.
That was cool.
Okay.
That was cool. It was just the other pool. Look, when everybody was over there.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to be cool. So I went over to the big kid pool, and you know, it was a life memory that I'll never forget. But you know, I learned.
You got kids.
I got kids, and
how's that dad life?
I love dad life. That's one thing that I would say, you know, that I find greater than playing for the Dallas Cowboys is being a dad. I always dreamt of being a great dad and being a great husband. So, you know, I strive to be the best dad I can be every day. I actually get to go home and see my boys for the first time in a week, so I'm excited to get home to them.
And how old are they?
I got a 2-month-old and a soon-to-be 3-year-old, September 13th. He actually started soccer on his birthday. I'm excited.
Come on.
Yeah, so
well, you know, the great
soccer dad.
The great thing about that age is they don't care if you want. They don't even know if you won or lost.
Look,
they're just, Daddy's home.
I love him even more, the fact that he just knows me as Dad. He don't knows me as DeMarvion Overshown or Agent Zero. It's just Dad, straight pure love, just because of me.
Hey, how much begging or cajoling did you have to do to get the 0?
Look, I would say, as far as begging, I didn't have to beg because, like, I knew.
Let's say lobby. How about that?
Okay. I would say I asked after the. I didn't even ask after the draft. They told me Jerry's not giving out 0. So from then, it
but nobody asked Jerry. They were protecting him, which they do. That's good.
Like,
okay.
he's not giving out.
Okay.
So I come back this following year, And I asked again. I hint at the idea, like, all
Now,
right.
who you talking to, Mike and Bucky, the equipment
I'm
managers?
talking to Mike, Bucky. You know, I hinted a couple times to Jerry if I seen him on the practice field. But
And what'd he say?
it was like, you know, that's nobody number. That I was told that he had said that we got a 00, we got a 0, which was Rowdy, and that's what I heard. So after the 13 campaign, I was sold on it. But I tell people, look, the day I was supposed to go to the factory and they was going to do the jersey printout and stuff like that, I wanted to make sure. So I actually called up Paxton, his grandson, and I said, look.
Who, by the way, in case you didn't know, played at Texas.
Played at Texas. We was locker buddies. His grandpa actually called him on draft night before he drafted me. So, but I called him up, and I'm like, look, I'm fully invested in 13. Like, this is not me coming to y'all like, look, I need 0 because I balled out. Like, look, at this point, I felt like if I earned it, I earned it. If I didn't, so be it. Because that's the story I ran with in my head. Like, look, I guess I just got to earn 0. I got to go make plays to get it. That's what I told myself. I don't know if that was true, but I told myself that.
And Paxton said?
Let me talk to my mom, and I get back to you. And not even a couple hours later, he said, it's yours. And he was like, we're not going to tell nobody right now just because you still in season. You can't change it anyways. But it's yours. And that's how I got 0.
That's dope.
That's how I got 0.
And you feel good in it.
I feel great. And like I said, I feel like I earned it. It wasn't a sign of they just giving it to me. I felt like I went out there and proved that, you know, if that's something I want, like, why not?
All right, we got 1 minute or so left. Texas, Ohio State. Go ahead, whatever you want to say.
You know, I've dealt with this in the locker room the last couple of days, so my answer is pretty good. First, I would like to say, you know, congratulations to Ohio State, you know, defending the national championship. So be it. Yeah. First, I would say, you know, our defense did outstanding. Like that is a national championship defense. I'm proud of PK. I'm proud of Ent leading the boys and all that. I can say that. And then I can say the one thing that I'm happy about is, you know, how Arch and Sark both took accountability after the game. It's like, we can do better. I can be better. I can put my player in better situations in order for him to make plays. So, you know, I like the fact that we took accountability for the loss. No, I'm not excited that we lost. But can we grow from that? Yes. Can I be excited for this Saturday coming up? Like, I feel sorry for San Jose State because, you know, we got some stuff to do. And I'm excited about us just growing from there.
Who gave it to you the worst in the locker room?
Definitely Malik Hooker. It's like, and the crazy thing is, it's like,
Buckeye.
We dealt with this last year, so, you know, Malik Hooker, but it's cool.
Okay.
We're going to get him back.
DeMarvion Overshown, everybody. Man, oh man, you're great, and I cannot wait to get you back on the floor.
Sir,
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
y'all.
you being here. Thank you all for joining us on Labor Day. Thursday night, Cowboys in Philadelphia. Nicole and I will be right back here next Monday on the Cowboy Hour.
A production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!